Hello, everybody. It's Nick here. Hope you're all doing well. Um, it's been a while. It's definitely been a while. Um, Everyone, say it with me. One, two, three. I've been busy. How many times do I say that? Every freaking video, it pisses me off that I have to tell my viewers, as little of them as I have, that I've been busy. Oh man, I don't have time for this. I don't even like saying that. Part of it I think is now I have been busy. That is true. I've been working overtime. I just want to let you guys know stuff that's going on. So like stuff that I got planned. I have some coming up. On Friday for Memorial Day weekend. Um, so why don't we talk about that? And I'll show you guys some stuff that I've picked up recently. One of them is video game related, so that's pretty cool. I still kind of in shock that I found such a thing, but out in the wild. But um, so this Friday, my band 31 Nights is going into the studio to record. We're going to record 3 songs, and sorry, got that itch in like the back of my throat. But anyways, we're recording 3 songs. We're going to get those released probably within a month or something. And then next month, this is why I've been working a lot of overtime. Excuse the barking in the background, please. When I get moved in my new house, I'll actually have a cat. So that's interesting. As long as I've been alive, I've never owned one. But anyways, next month, like mid-June, I'll be flying out to Memphis, Tennessee to cut a song for my own solo stuff. So I'm really excited to do that. I've always wanted to go to Tennessee, preferably Nashville, because it's like the music capital of the world. But um, I'm cool with Memphis. I've been trying to record at these studios have uh, that have stood the test of time. They've been around since like the '60s and '70s. Um, and also record where some of my favorite groups recorded, like at Fame Studios. I actually did try to go there, and the engineer said he was going to send me a price list for their, for studio time stuff, and then I never heard back. So I thought, but there was a session drummer that I know who lives in Tennessee, so I'm actually going to have him play drums on this track. Can I stop saying Anyway, so yeah, I got some music stuff coming up, but I do want to take care of like a few things people have asked about. First of all, um, I want to talk about. I think someone asked me on an unrelated video, which I'll admit is mildly annoying, but I have no reason to get mad at them for it. But they were asking, hey, are you going to do Lands of Lore? And the answer is, I would love to do that this year. I would like to try making that a priority. And as people probably know or not, if in case you haven't been following me too close, um, thank you for keeping your distance. But I am in the process of moving. I know it doesn't quite look like it. Working piece by piece. I've lived very unorganized, and that's another reason why I'm moving is so I can start anew. Um, I've lived my life, it's like a remnant of my past self. Fucking stains on the walls, which I don't even think were caused because of me, because I don't even touch these walls. I think there was like someone who smoked here previously, but I'm glad to be, going out on my own and stuff. So that's gonna be cool. Excuse me, I'm getting the itching again. It's really annoying. Anyway, so yes, Lands of Lore, I would like to do that. I think I put the clue book somewhere at my other house, so I'm going to have to go look for that next time, so it might be a couple weeks before I can get back down that way. Um, and then, I think a couple people have been asking about the Bart's Nightmare prototype, and unfortunately right now, I don't have anyone who's willing to dump the cartridge. I would love to have that preserved. I'm not just saying that. I'm not trying to tease people. I seriously mean that. I would like for people, or I'd like for that to be preserved. As you know, I am a preservationist when it comes to like video game stuff or what have you, or vinyl records, these obscure ones that never made it onto CD or digital. I would love nothing more than to, have those preserved. But I don't have the technical know-how of doing that. And the people that do seem to, they're either not trustworthy or they're not available. earlier this year, I contacted Frank Cifaldi. I think he runs the Video Game History Foundation. He's dumped a lot of prototypes. I thought, okay, this is a guy I can trust. I think, I've had a bit of correspondence with him. And I asked him about dumping the Bart Snamer prototype. And his answer, I don't remember exactly, like verbatim what he said, but he basically said no, without saying no. I think it was something along, I don't want to put words in his mouth, so just, take this with a grain of salt, don't quote me. But he said something along the lines of he's got more important things to look at beside, what I've got. So, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do at the moment. I would like to get that data preserved. It's sitting down, that cartridge is somewhere in one of these drawers, just sitting there. Hopefully it's not collecting too much dust, but there's nothing I can do. I mean, I've tried contacting people, and like I said, I have to be able to trust these people too. I can't just ship a one-of-a-kind game out to some person and just trust that they're going to return it. That doesn't always happen. So yeah, I want to get that stuff taken care of. I'm hoping this year is the year, but until someone that I can trust can dump it, and like I said, preferably Frank Cifaldi is who I would like to go through. Maybe if people ask him, maybe you could send him a message on his social media to say, hey, we would really like to, please don't tell him, oh, Nick said you're not going to look at it or anything. That's not what I said. I said when I asked him at the time, he said it didn't sound like something he'd be interested in at the time. Now, maybe now he'd be more open to doing it, but again, I'm not, while I'm not in the biggest rush, I would like to see it preserved. But again, maybe if enough people write to him, maybe he'll go, okay, fine, I'll take a look at it. I think I told people, for those who aren't in the know, I did take it to a guy in Seattle many years ago to get dumped, and he couldn't get the data off of it. So I'm not saying it's a lost cause. I'm just saying I have tried before. Even if it was just one time, I have tried before. So please bear with me on that. It's something, again, I'm not trying to, screw around with people. I do want that dumped, but like I've got people making comments on unrelated videos saying, hey, when are you going to dump that prototype? When are you going to dump that prototype? Man, it's like, here's the thing. If you want it dumped, I would recommend, again, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I guess I'm just a little bit frustrated about it. It's like, if you want it dumped, then message Frank Cifaldi on his social media and just say, hey, we'd really like to see this get dumped, and Nick is willing to hand it over to you to dump and then return to him. I'm not, and I was gonna say something, but I don't want to make this a whole complicated thing. But basically, all I'm saying is, maybe if people show interest in that, he'll be more interested in doing it. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe he's taking care of stuff that he thinks more people would be interested in. So this isn't a slam. This isn't like a talk crap. I don't like gossip. I don't like talking crap about people, and that's not what I'm doing here. I'm just saying that's what he told me. If you want the cartridge dump, please contact him. And again, please don't take this as me being a jerk. I'm just as anxious as you are to get it dumped. I know I said earlier, well, I'm not in a rush, and I'm not, but it would be nice to have it preserved. I agree, and I want it preserved. So, like I said, the only other option is if there's someone within Washington State who is willing to look at it, and I could go over there and meet them, I'd be more than willing to make the time. But as far as I know, nobody that I know fits any of that criteria. And, you have to understand from my point of view that I don't want to lose that thing. So, sorry about my rant. It's something that people have brought up quite a bit, and, again, commenting on unrelated videos, and it's just, By the way, what I used to like was the YouTube messages feature. Remember that? I don't even think they have that anymore, or if they did, they hid it so well that for several years I've never been able to find it. But see, that's something that should have been a thing. People could send me a message about it and not be commenting on videos that are unrelated. Now, before you go remove your comments, don't do that. Don't please don't do that. I don't want you to do that. I'm saying again, like just for future reference, you know, you could also comment on my channel, you know, and you know I'll get notifications on that. But again, please understand from my point of view, I'm not trying to be a jerk, and I'm not trying to be, you know, a mean guy about it. It's just it gets brought up a lot, and I understand people are anxious, and so am I. So, sermon over. I'm sorry for taking up a big chunk of the video by talking about that. So, without any further ado, let me show you guys some of the stuff that I've picked up along the way recently. So, let's see, what do we got? We got, I don't know if I showed people this. A while back I got Bobby Sherman's Here Comes Bobby album. I got the Japanese vinyl in my last unboxing video. I do have another one coming up. But yeah. And then I got a couple vinyls today. This one is a Japanese import of the second Liz Damon's Orient Express album. It's pretty cool. This is a pretty good album. This group was basically just... they basically just did like easy listening versions of, you know, covers. But this album actually does, I think it features their first ever, well, I know all the songs from the first album, so I know that for a fact. They have a song called The Quiet Sound, and that's the first original song that they've done. So that's pretty cool. And then I bought this one, Me Japanese Boy, I Love You, which is another minor hit of theirs. So, but those albums were never released on CD or vinyl or digital or anything like that. So literally the only option is to listen to them on vinyl, or in my case, put them on rip the vinyl to MP3, get rid of the noise from the tracks, and then I can listen to them at work or whatever. So anyway, I got a couple music books. I know people probably aren't excited to see that, but I got a piano book for Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Really love this group. They're freaking phenomenal. So, great group. And then this is actually the third copy I have, but they had it and it was pretty cheap for my favorite album of all time, split with another Sting album, but this is the scorebook for 10 Summoner's Tales. There are some parts that they don't actually transcribe in full, but one guy transcribed this. I think their name is Bob Lesso. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. This is my favorite album, and I actually haven't listened to it in quite a long time. I need to change that. I also, see if I can get it here without dropping anything. I got another music book for Jim Croce. It's pretty cool. It's got some photos of him in here. It's got, you know, Time in a Bottle, Operators, Salon and Saloon, Alabama Rain, Dreaming Again, These Dreams, It Doesn't Have to Be That Way, Lover's Cross, I'll Have to Say I Love You in a Song, Thursday, A Long Time Ago, and Photographs and Memories. There we go. Okay, you saw that. Cool. I also picked up this book for Loggins and Messina, because they're a good group. So, Motherlode. I'm not familiar with this album, but I'll have to listen to it. I also got a CD for, well, I got a couple CDs. I got a Van Morrison, latest record project. Now, I bought this album not knowing too much about who Van Morrison is. I mean, I kind of know him. I don't know this album, but a coworker of mine actually, for the first time ever, is commissioning me for a bass transcription, because I've wanted to be able to do that for a long time, or even for like 8-bit songs, like NES songs, and nobody's done it, so he's literally the first. And so he said, yeah, there's a song called A Few Bars Early. If you could transcribe that, man, I will pay you. So, and I do trust him. He's a pretty good friend. So anyway, and then there's another Japanese CD I got, Hal Blaine, Have Fun, Play Drums. I believe the vinyl is out of print, like you can't even find it anywhere, so it was cool finding the CD, especially because drums is the instrument I'm the worst at, so I'm looking forward, I'm hoping I can learn a thing or two from Hal Blaine. For those who don't know, he was a session drummer on the West Coast, and he's known to play on more recordings than anybody else, so at least as far as session players. So another CD that I picked up, which I've seen this album before, I've never listened to it, but it's James Blunt's Back to Bedlam album. It's a Japanese import. It was only a few bucks. The case is damaged here, but I can get another one without too much trouble, so that's pretty cool. Okay, now, what was the video game related thing? Well, at one of the bookstores, the one that I got the Jim Croce book at, as a matter of fact, I happened to see this one book where the spine was in Japanese in the sheet music section. And as soon as since I could read Japanese, I was looking at what the artist was, and wouldn't you know it, I never thought I would find something like this. But get a load of this. This is the sheet music book for the Ocarina of Time. Now, I never beat this game. My sister did, and I think my dad did. But I'm definitely familiar with the game. What a great game. Not one that I would play personally, because I'm not good at games like that, but this is pretty cool. Like, piano arrangements of all the songs from the game. At least I believe it's all the songs from the game. And you get all these characters like Talon and Malon or Maron. I can't remember. Ingo, Saria, Zeruda Hime, or Princess Zelda. And you got Ganondorf. It's pretty cool, man. This is a pretty cool book. Yeah, here's all the songs, man. Look at all that. So this is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool find. It was only $8, so I think I got a good deal there. I think half-price books has turned into fully priced games, but at least some of their stuff you can get good deals on every once in a while. So, yeah. Now my Dungeon Hack playthrough, I finished that long ago. I just need to upload the rest of the parts, so that's something I'm going to try doing probably this week. Now, in addition to now, see, the reason I'm busy this week, too, is actually today, I had car trouble. It was just a light I needed changed, so I had to run that over. But on top of that, I have to work on vocal arrangements for our session for the weekend. And then I also simultaneously have to make a backing track for the studio in Tennessee, so they get an idea of what the song I'm writing is. It'll help them adjust and know how many instruments I plan to record and so on and so forth. So thank you guys for your patience. Another problem that I recently had that I believe I solved today was my microphone. I was playing Left 4 Dead one day, and people, I was talking, and someone was like, dude, your microphone's it's all distorted and shit, So I listened to it, and I was having this problem where through the headphones, through my Focusrite, that's the microphone I'm talking into is the one I use for singing from home and stuff. Everything sounded fine, but then you'd go to record, whether it's the microphone or an instrument or whatever, you'd go to record it, and it would come out really distorted and stuff. So I actually did get help from Google AI on this. So I went to my recording settings, went to the microphone, changed it to 50%, and it seemed to fix the issue. I guess I'll find out after this video is done whether that worked or not. But I just ripped the Liz Damon album after doing that, and it sounds great. So anyway, so I'll see you guys later. If there's anything else you want to see, I know I said I was going to do a video talking about a couple albums, and I think people do need to realize things do change over time. I am more of a musical person now, but the video game stuff isn't going away, even if it seems like it. When I get moved into my new place, I have, certain Let's Plays planned for games that I don't think have ever been run through before. And, I want to get back into doing game reviews again for, obscure games. So, I have a bunch of scripts on my computer, actually. So, anyway, thank you guys for your patience. Thank you for watching, and thank you for sticking with me all this time and all these years. It's hard to believe I've been doing this since 2006. So, I guess if I were Judge Dredd, I'd say I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't know if people get that reference. But anyways, I'll see you guys later. God bless. Peace out. Have a good one. And feel free to add me on Steam. We can play Left 4 Dead 2 sometime. Oh, one last thing. I just remembered this. My good friend in Australia, yes, I will be playing Aussie Rules Footy. And I do believe I can do a better Australian accent now. So, you'll have to be the judge of that. Alright, later.